My name's Lou Horvath. I'm the public address announcer here in the Convocation Center for the district and regional tournaments. I also do Ohio University basketball, men and women. I do football for OU and soccer and volleyball. So I'm a busy guy.
The very first year, the very first night of games, Lou Horvath come up and introduced himself to me. I had no idea who Lou Horvath was, but Lou showed a lot of eagerness and willingness to be the public address announcer here for our games.
My job when I worked at Social Security was public information. So I did radio, TV, newspapers, magazine articles, those things. Also did a number of things for retirement issues and other stuff like that. And my son was playing soccer, junior high soccer, and he needed somebody to do the PA. PA guy wasn't there. So I started doing that. From that, I started doing basketball, and then from basketball doing sectional tournaments at Alexander. From that, we had a tournament here in the Convo called Hoops in December of every year. So I started calling games in the Convo. And then we started doing the tournament games the same year that Wayne Horsley did. So I've been here since 2000 doing those. Then I picked up games for soccer at OU, volleyball, football, and basketball.
Championship game. Welcome to the Convo, here on the campus of Ohio University.
And at that time we had a Ohio University's announcer, Tom Starr, really good professional announcer. And I told Lou, you know, we're good, we've got somebody. Well, being my first year as a tournament manager and a little bit over my head with just not realizing how big this event could actually be, Tom had given me a couple dates that he couldn't be there. And one of them had to be the second night. And we're about 5 minutes before from the start of essentially the first game. And Lou comes back down to me. It's the second time I'd ever seen Lou. And Lou says, "Hey, there's nobody on the mic." I looked over and I was like, "Oh, wow." Lou goes, "I'll do it." I said, "Have at it," because I knew I wasn't doing it. And first time I ever heard Lou announce, first time he ever said 2 minutes, which is a Lou Horvath trademark. I ran over and I'm like, "Man, we can't do that." He says, "That's what I do." He said, "This is me, that's what I do."
I know people don't look at a wristwatch anymore. Sometimes you look at a phone to find out what time it is. So the one time you're allowed to take a look at these phones is here in the Convo. Because we all know what time it is. It's basketball 30, and it's lights out in the Convo.
Basketball 30, where did that come from?
Well, I was in Vietnam and we used to call it beer 30. So it was like, it's just a natural progression. It just came to me one day, beer 30, basketball 30. I mean, in volleyball, I've got this phrase, mashed potato sandwich, which nobody else uses because it came to me one day. It's a soft shot in the middle. And now, throughout the Mid-American Conference, they know what that is.
My biggest thing was, "Can you be here every night?" Lou said, "I'll be here every night." So we had the very next game, Lou's sitting at the mic, Tom Starr comes in about 10 minutes before game time and says, "Excuse me, you're in my seat." Lou looked at him, and in a way only Lou can do, he says, "I ain't getting up." And 18 years later, Lou has called over 500 high school basketball games here in the Convocation Center.
Between the Eagles of Eastern and the Oaks of Oak Hill.
I have a good bit of freedom here, and that's my shtick, so to speak. It's fun. I love watching the kids come through because when they get to this stage, it's a big deal. And you see the kids maybe played in D4 and only play in small gyms. When I was in high school, it was always on stages. You know, you played on the stage with a wall right behind the basket. And maybe if you're lucky, there's padding. But when they come here, their eyes are just wide. And you get to see them develop. If they're lucky enough to be here more than once, you watch the kids. Like Tanner Purdue, you watch him from year to year to year. You know, Evan Legg, the coach, we watched him play here. And he was a killer back then. You know, so it's both a treat and an honor for me to do this. And like I tell everybody, I'm not the show. I just try to make it a show for the kids, and they enjoy it. Yeah, they're organic. They just kind of happen. It comes from their performance. Woodside, Big Timber, that's pretty easy to do. Sugar Ray Chambers from Chillicothe. Those things come to me, and then they fit, you know. And I don't try to insult anyone, you know, and that's not what I do here. It's everybody has an exciting game, and that's what we try to make sure that happens.
College athletics, Division I, you run into a lot of challenging names, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. Back in the day, we had the Tulane volleyball team here for a weekend tournament. Every name was Serbo-Croatian. The first 5 names had one vowel. Not one vowel in each name, one vowel total, because Y is a vowel, and apparently G was as well. So it was pretty tough. My grandma on one side was Croatian, but I had no clue. So I hate mispronouncing names, but that one was really tough. There used to be a great PA announcer here, Raleigh Swart, and the Lithuanian team was here back when Danny Nee was coach. And Raleigh just butchered every name. Raleigh was from Southeast Ohio. And I said, Raleigh, how'd you do that? He says, well, they're never coming back. So
we used to play a game with Lou. Lou has the biggest vocabulary I've ever seen. And the game was always, we would give Lou a word. We would give it to him on a piece of paper during the game, and Lou had 5 minutes to work that word into his PA broadcast. You know, we're not talking a radio broadcast here, into a basket made by, or he would sell things at the concession stand that didn't really exist. But, you know, I mean, we worked really hard on this, and Lou always knew the word we gave him. He could pronounce it, he knew the meaning of it, and he knew how to put it in a sentence. And we collectively, my staff, were like 0-500 against Lou in that little game. Matter of fact, we give up on it because it's got to be no challenge. He used to we'd give it to him, and we wouldn't get off the floor before he would put it into a question.
Most rewarding experience?
oh, I think every game is one for me. It really is. I just enjoy watching the kids go and get a chance to move on up. And it's that upset win or the team that comes here that's not really ballyhooed that well in the press, and they get to move on. And to me, that's just heartwarming.
It's been a real blessing to have him. He's beloved by all, and we're really blessed here in the Southeast District for what Lou does to make this tournament a much better event. Lou, on behalf of everybody, thank you.
It's nice to have the kids come over afterwards and talk to me. Kretzer, who played here for 4 years and then played at Akron for 4 years, they'd always come over to me when Akron was playing here, warming up. I said, Kretzer, what time is it? He goes, basketball 30.